A hearing aid or deaf aid is an electroacoustic device which is designed to amplify sound for the wearer, usually with the aim of making speech more intelligible, and to correct impaired hearing as measured by audiometry. In the United States, hearing aids are considered medical devices and are regulated by the Food and Drug Administration. Ordinary small audio amplifiers or other plain sound reinforcing systems cannot be sold as hearing aids. Earlier devices, known as ear trumpets or ear horns, were passive funnel-like amplification cones designed to gather sound energy and direct it into the ear canal. Similar devices include the bone-anchored hearing aid and cochlear implant. Uses. Hearing aids are incapable of truly correcting a hearing loss. They are an aid to make sounds more accessible. Two primary issues minimize the effectiveness of hearing aids. When the primary auditory cortex does not receive regular stimulation, this part of the brain loses cells which process sound. Cell loss increases as the degree of hearing loss increases. Damage to the hair cells of the inner ear results in sensorineural hearing loss, which affects the ability to discriminate between sounds. This often manifests as a decreased ability to understand speech, and simply amplifying speech is often insufficient to improve speech perception. Adjustment hearing aids are incapable of truly correcting a hearing loss. They are an aid to make sounds more accessible. Three primary issues minimize the effectiveness of hearing aids. The occlusion effect is a common complaint, especially for new users. Though if the aids are worn regularly, most people will become acclimated after a few weeks. If the effect persists, an audiologist or hearing instrument specialist can sometimes further tune the hearing aid. The compression effect. The amplification needed to make quiet sounds audible, if applied to loud sounds, would damage the inner ear. Louder sounds are therefore reduced, giving a smaller audible volume range and hence inherent distortion. Hearing protection is also provided by an overall cap to the sound pressure. Also a protective value is impulse noise suppression, available in some high-end aids. The initial fitting appointment is rarely sufficient, and multiple follow-up visits are often necessary. Most audiologists or hearing instrument specialists will recommend an up-to-date audiogram at the time of purchase and at subsequent fittings. Evaluation. There are several ways of evaluating how well a hearing aid compensates for hearing loss. One approach is audiometry, which measures a subject's hearing levels in laboratory conditions. The threshold of audibility for various sounds and intensities is measured in a variety of conditions. Although audiometric tests may attempt to mimic real-world conditions, the patient's own everyday experiences may differ. An alternative approach is self-report assessment, where the patient reports their experience with the hearing aid. Hearing aid outcome can be represented by three dimensions. Hearing aid usage, aided speech recognition, benefit, satisfaction. The most reliable method for assessing the correct adjustment of a hearing aid is through real ear measurement. Real ear measurements are an assessment of the characteristics of hearing aid amplification near the eardrum using a silicone probe tube, microphone,